To be honest, my first experience with AVID was a pretty terrible one. Not, yeah. I recently moved to Riverside from Compton, and I was signing up for classes when I discovered this thing called AVID. I put that aside mainly because I didn't really want to get involved with anything until I met my first friends. Both of them carried these huge, uncomfortable blue binders, and I asked them about them, and they said they were part of AVID. Eventually, I did join, but I felt, and I still feel, a little bit tricked. Mainly because the way that they described it was a class about learning how to apply to colleges, how to do college stuff. And then I was blindsided by this whole, you got to turn in a binder every week. Got to learn about this one guy called Cornell for some reason. Looking back at it, yeah, I'm going to admit I was a bit of a fool because those things actually help when you get to more advanced stuff, like things I don't even remember right now. All 4 years of high school, I lived in a disruptive environment. My father and mother, both of them lived in different cities, and I ended up staying with my 2 older brothers, the girlfriend of my oldest, and their 3 children. At the time, I was sleeping in a barren room on a mattress on just the floor, a mattress that they picked up off the streets. Yeah, it smelled of dog odor, and I was honestly living off the food that the school provided for me because my family was underneath the poverty line and we qualified for a free lunch program. I was verbally and physically abused by my 2 older brothers, financially extorted, and at one point threatened by way of death of a friend when I tried to leave the household. I was consistently told that I wasn't gonna amount to anything besides a sad old loveless man by people who were supposed to love me. I'm not proud, but I did contemplate suicide on more than one occasion. The part that was probably the saddest for me was that I only realized after I graduated and got away from the household that the standards of living was truly atrocious. Up until then, I didn't really know. That was just my life. I didn't expect more. Today, my middle brother is in jail on felony charges, and my eldest brother is completing rehab for his addiction to several drugs. AVID really changed me into somebody I could respect. Showed me about community service and helping others in productive ways to deal with the emotions that I garnered over the years. To this, I owe 3 specific people. Of course, there are others, but these 3 were the seeds, metaphorically, I don't know, not literally. These 3 were Mrs. Martin, Mr. Lim, and Mr. Jung. Mrs. Martin was my first AVID teacher, and she really pushed me in a way that I hadn't been pushed before. She motivated me to be a better person rather than just a better student. She was the one who introduced me to Habitat for Humanity, the biggest club on campus, and I later became the vice president of, not the president. Though I would have wanted to become the president. Mr. Jung started off as my AP language teacher, and he reminded me and a bunch of other people that life in college is not an easy ride, that you have to be persistent and have a good attitude and not make excuses if you really want to end up somewhere. Mr. Lim was actually the person who introduced me to the concept of going to college. Up until then, I didn't really consider college an option. I was planning on becoming a mechanic or something. There are others but these three will always stand out in my memory as the people who introduced me to AVID. And I realize now that they couldn't have done that without the support of AVID, the bigger AVID. So I'm grateful to AVID and what they do. And AVID is really the bedrock of the character I am now. AVID also introduced me to possibly the greatest influencer is students. They were different, yes, but they were still hungry to go to college and make something of themselves. This naturally influenced me because I'm competitive by nature and I gotta be better than them, so. I owe so much of my future to AVID. AVID became the seed that branched out and created a young man who transformed his pain, his torture, his anger, hatred, and sometimes blinding rage into something productive. Mr. Jung, who for a few years went by Coach Jung for me, he introduced me to cross country, track and field, and wrestling. As you probably know now, I made varsity. Mr. Lim taught me that there are things beyond high school, beyond just a menial job, futures that I could choose if I just really put my mind to it. Mrs. Martin introduced me to the concept of service above self. They showed me that kindness and this selfless service is a much better road to fulfillment instead of this typical work hard and get rich mentality. They showed me that opportunities are available, you just need to reach. Showed me that my past doesn't define who I am now. It showed me that anger is just a vile poison that's only killing me. Today I'm different. I'm much kinder, I'm much stronger, and I've been told that I'm much bulkier now. I'm the first to go to college from my family, and hopefully in the future I won't be the last. In taking the spirit of selfless service to heart, in a few days, approximately 10, give or take a few hours, I will report to Annapolis, Maryland, where I become a midshipman in the United States Naval Academy. The second part to that is one day I'll become an officer in the United States military. Yeah. I'm trying to lean towards the Marines. Just one more thing before I leave. Go Navy, beat Army, and thank you.